Thank you for listening to this PodcastOne Sportsnet production, available on Apple Podcasts and PodcastOne.
This episode of the Steve Austin Show is sponsored in part by TheraWorks. Listen up. If you're one of the millions of Americans who suffer from muscle cramps in your legs and feet, relief is finally in sight. TheraWorks Relief is a topical foam that's clinically proven to relieve muscle cramps fast, and with daily use, TheraWorks Relief can even prevent muscle cramps before they start. Finally, you'll be able to get a good night's sleep and do all those activities you love and not worry about muscle cramps. TheraWorks Relief is a life-changing product, and best of all, you don't even need a prescription. It only takes minutes to apply. It absorbs quickly, and it really works. Get TheraWorks Relief today at select CVS, Rite Aid, and Walgreens pharmacies, or at TheraWorksRelief.com. That's TheraWorks Relief.com.
The following program is a PodcastOne.com production.
From Hollywood, California, by way of the Broken Skull Ranch, this is the Steve Austin Show.
Give me a hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Now, here's Steve Austin.
All right, everybody, welcome to Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California today. It is another hot one here on the mean streets of Marina del Rey. The heat wave is still here. My illustrious wife, Kristen, just came in from the valley where it was about 103 or 104 degrees. It ain't that hot here in Marina del Rey, but it's still hot. We just got back from a trip down there to Texas to say hello to my family and catch up with some friends that stopped by, and we drank a bunch of cold-ass beer, some wine, and a couple of margaritas, and had a damn good time. It was a good visit down there in South Texas. We were down there in Edna, the home of the Edna Cowboys and Edna Cowgirls. And I'll be damned, the Walmart just went out of business down there in Edna, Texas. That's bullshit. Walmart came in there, put everybody else out of business, the mom and pop stores. Then they closed down the Walmart, and you got to go to the Super Walmart that is 25 miles away in each direction down Highway 59. That's bullshit. Anyway, I got a chance to enjoy some damn good Mexican food, my favorite food on the planet, in San Antonio and down there in Edna. Totally fell off my fitness program, but I'm back on the attack once I'm back here in L.A. Got a chance to enjoy a couple of damn cold beers with my brothers, shoot the shit, tell a bunch of stories, and hang out. I got a chance to check on my 1974 Camaro Z28 project car. I think the motor's about to get put in that thing down there in El Toro, Texas, and I'm fixing to ship that thing out here to California, hopefully, and I think I'm going to paint that car. Right now, it's a maroon car with 2 black stripes across the hood and down the back deck, and I believe I'm going to change that car into a Cortez silver and 2 black stripes, and not use the Z28 stripes that were specific to the 1974 year model Camaro. And I'm thinking about yanking out the 350. It's a numbers matching car. I'm thinking about going LS motor with 400 to 450 horsepower. I will keep it an automatic, and I'm looking forward to getting that project done and start the transformation. I haven't messed with a car in a long time, and going back to my 71 Firebird Formula, my 73 Camaro, some of the other hot rods I had way back in the day. And I'm looking forward to getting this project going and cruising around the mean streets of Los Angeles, and I'm probably going to end up driving that car to Nevada, where that's where I will enjoy that thing. But anyway, good trip down to Texas. It's good to be back here in California, and just in 2 days, we are headed to the Silver State, heading down to the Broken Skull Ranch 2.0 for hopefully about 2 weeks. I know we're going to make a week, 10 days, but hopefully we'll get the chance to spend a couple of weeks down there. I want to film some videos, riding my buggies, my four-wheelers, and my dirt bike down there. Continue to fix my shop up, get everything prepped up over there. But nonetheless, I got a long-ass podcast today with a guy that you guys have been requesting back on the show. Ted Fowler, 361, joins me on the show today. You guys been sending me emails and tweets on my Twitter account. Hey, man, when's Ted going to be back on the show? Well, he's back today, and we're talking about every single thing under the sun, from hunting to programming, watching stuff on TV. We'll cover Longmire, the show that my wife and I are watching. I'm really enjoying that show. We just kicked into season 2. They're starting to plant a bunch of seeds that will come up in later episodes, I'm assuming. So it's a very enjoyable show. I love the fact that Longmire is driving that 94 Ford Bronco and looks about like mine, other than the fact that his got a maroon stripe, mine's got a silver stripe. And I'm going to get me some wheels on mine. That's my other little project I'm working on. I got to get some different wheels. I got those shitty stock wheels that they came with, and I'm going to upgrade those probably while I'm over in Nevada taking care of business. But anyway, me and Teddy are shooting the breeze for about an hour and a half. So there's no sense in me running my mouth. Let's jump right into a conversation with Ted Fowler 361. But before we get to Ted Fowler, let me get you guys up to speed on one of my new sponsors, and it's Butcher Box. Butcher Box is a high-quality, healthy protein you can trust. It is 100% grass-fed and finished beef, free-range organic chicken, and heritage breed pork, prepared old world style so that all the fat and flavor is intact. I busted out a badass ribeye off of my Butcher Box I received the other day. Cooked that thing on my grill, and it was absolutely delicious. So good stuff, and I'm looking forward to throwing the rest of the stuff because I'm going to transfer that up to Nevada, put it on my Traeger grill. I'm going to cook that whole chicken, and I think I got a Boston butt in there I'm going to put on my smoker. So Butcher Box is pretty damn awesome. Butcher Box has an unbelievable taste, and there's a huge difference in taste between animals raised on pasture and those fed grain in concentrated animal feedlot operations. The price is just $129 per month, and that works out to less than $6 a meal. And shipping is free nationwide, excluding Alaska and Hawaii. There is no commitment, and you can cancel easily at any time. For listeners of the Steve Austin Show, get $20 off plus free bacon in your first box by going to butcherbox.com and using the discount code STEVE at checkout. Again, that's $20 off and free bacon at butcherbox.com with discount code STEVE at checkout. Bon appetit.
Hey, Steve Austin Show listeners, this is Wade Keller. You might have heard me on the Steve Austin Show in the past talking about WWE pay-per-views. You can hear me every week, twice a week, on the Wade Keller Pro Wrestling Podcast. Just search Wade Keller. I produce 2 new shows each week. Every Thursday on our flagship show, I'm joined by a co-host from the wrestling journalism field to talk about the hot topics in WWE and elsewhere. Every Friday, I'm joined by a guest who has worked in the wrestling business, including Cody Rhodes.
This is going to sound odd, but I think it's difficult for any company to fully commit to me because I don't do anything you tell me to do. That's just going to sound ridiculous. Within the confines of what's been discussed, like about a 50 match or overall 2 to 3 matches, but honestly the only thing I listen to is a time limit because I know and respect the others on the show that you have time for a match, but wrestling is starting to slip back into what it was meant to be. The wrestlers do the wrestling part.
Listen to the full Cody Rhodes interview right now by downloading the show. Search Wade Keller wherever you listen to pro wrestling podcasts.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
All right, I'm rolling sound. I got Ted Fowler 361 all the way down there in Rockport, Texas on the line. Teddy's closing up shop. He's been paying bills and billing people. Teddy, what the hell's going on?
Dude, same old grind every day down here in Rockport. Just trying to rebuild.
What's the temperature down there?
Man, it was nice today. It was overcast. It probably reached about 88. Yesterday, it was 97. Now, you know what the humidity we got. That is a bear.
Yeah, man, that gets pretty nasty down there. Hell, it got to be about 80, 85 here in the marina today, which, well, you know, it ain't real hot. It was about 90 last week. Kristen was down in the valley. I think she was somewhere like 107 or 110. I was just sitting there watching the news report because there's a heat wave all across, you know, there's everywhere basically. But hell, and over in your stomping grounds, Phoenix, it's $114. So them people, man, and that's that dry heat. And I tell you what, man, we was over in Nevada a couple weeks ago, and there's a heat wave going on over there, and it's about 90, 93, and that's that dry-ass heat. But, you know, hot's hot. But, man, I tell you what, I guess we're fortunate I live over here in the marina because, hell, if we're down in the valley, I'd be sweating my ass off. I'm glad I ain't doing chores at the Broken Skull Ranch down there in South Texas.
You and me both, man. You and me both. Hey, man, how cool does it get there at night?
You know, that's the interesting thing because just as of yesterday, during the mornings and during the evenings, it's pretty cool. And then it'll go ahead and heat up. And that's one of the things I like about Nevada, man. It'll be hotter than blazes, but when you wake up in the morning, shit, it's about 60, maybe 65. And then like July is usually about the hottest month over in northern Nevada. So August should be about 3 degrees cooler. And then September, well, it's going to start cooling off, getting into October. And then because you've been up here hunting. And then we get into deer season and all that stuff. So, it's not real bad up there. But when you're kind of based out of Southern California now, and you get out there and the heat kind of punches you in the face. I'm out there trying to ride my four-wheeler. And like I was just telling a buddy of mine, it's been margarita season over here for a while. And, you get on a string of those Broken Skull Ranch margaritas and you're drinking about 2 or 3 triples or quadruples. And then you go out there and you put your helmet on, your pads, you get out there in your four-wheeler and start tearing shit up. Man, yeah, I pull over a whole lot and drink as much water as I can. So, you know what? I kind of started drying out, just drink my glass of wine in the evenings now. I got my cardio back in place. I've been crushing it on the weights. So now I'm looking forward to get back because we're going down to Texas. We're leaving 2 days as we speak. And as you listen to this podcast, I'll still be down there in Texas. So we're going to go down to Texas for about 4 days, visit the family, and then come back to L.A. for about 3 days, and then head back up to Nevada. So hopefully it'll start cooling off just a tad. But I'm just, I'm ripping it up out there, dude. You know how we used to have that four-wheeler down at the ranch?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That was the one that Vince gave me, and that was the black ATV that I rode down on Monday Night Raw. And one time WWF came into town, and, I had a ranch. You were down there, and I called up Vince because they was running TV. They was running Monday Night Raw down in San Antonio. And I called Vince up. I said, hey, man, do you mind if I come down there and borrow that four-wheeler for a little bit because you guys are in San Antonio? He goes, no, Steve. He goes, hell, come up here. You can just have it. So anyway, when I took that four-wheeler back to the ranch, we initially rode it a little bit. But because the roads are just so flat and we had all the side-by-sides out there, we never really rode that damn thing. And to this day, I think it has about 109 hours on it. And that thing's probably 10 or 12 years old. It's like brand new. But when you get to Nevada and you get those changes in the terrain, it's not just flat, senderos and gravel roads. Dude, there was nothing exciting about riding the four-wheeler back in the day. But now I got the Kawasaki 750 with the power steering. And, dude, you talk about a game changer. Out of all my side-by-sides and all my stuff, and I got my dirt bike going, but that four-wheeler, when you get in that kind of country, that's probably my favorite vehicle to ride just because of the terrain. You can scout on it. You can ride the shit out of it and raise hell on it. So, man, I'm really enjoying that. Dude, you got to get your ass up to Nevada and come visit us.
Oh, dude, if I could, you need to call up the state of Nevada and tell them to get me drawn for a hunt up there. Man, it's been a long season without rain for the kid. I mean, I've been putting in for, I think, 5 or 6 years, and I haven't got drawn for anything. Maybe they're still a little sore about the one time I did go to the state, how I left it. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Dude, I've been putting in for my Nevada tags for, 3, 4, 5 years now. And I've had a place up there for, 8 months, whatever. And we got the results back a couple weeks ago. And that was it's just like the big lottery. And I kept telling Kristen, and I kept telling Mitch, who, Kristen's brother who guides out there, who I hunt with. And I kept telling him, I said, man, I tell you what, I really feel lucky. I think I'm going to draw some tags this year. Hell, I didn't draw shit. I didn't draw flies. Mitch drew a couple of tags. One of his daughters drew a couple of tags. His other daughter drew another tag. Between the three of them, they got about 4 or 5 tags. I didn't get shit. And then, I'm lucky because last year, hunting down there in Unit 034 outside of Winnemucca, I shot that badass mule deer on a landowner tag. And so those guys were kind enough to give me the first, right of refusal to that tag. And, of course, I took it. And then, boy, this is going to piss you off. Out of the blue, Mitch was doing something, and he came across an antelope tag, another landowner tag, which is just like my mule deer tag, and he called me up. And he goes, hey, man, I've got this landowner antelope tag. He goes, I'm going to give you first shot at it. If you don't want it, I'm going to go down the line. I said, sold. So, dude, I hate to rub salt in your wounds, but the kid here is going to be antelope hunting, and that hunt is going to take place in September. So, man, that is right around the damn corner.
Oh, dude, then that's a good weather hunt to be on. I mean, I went on an archery antelope hunt in Arizona, and I mean the weather's right. It's a little warm. There's still some snakes out there in Arizona, but with those mule deer hunts that late in the season, I'm kind of a warm weather cat. I like being warm, a hell of a lot better than I like being cold. So doing that hunt in September, I think you'll really enjoy it. Plus, it'll give you an opportunity, to take a little longer shot. Those antelopes pretty wiry, got good vision.
That's one thing I was talking to Mitch about, because he's going to use his 22-250, and he said, 25-06 is another good choice. And man, I got rid of a couple of my rifles to Neil, and I got my 7 mag. I think it's a little bit much on an antelope. And then, other than that, I don't really have anything lighter than that other than the 308. And I was telling Mitch, I said, man, I think a 7 mag's a little much. I mean, I could shoot a 120 grain bullet out of it, but I said, what about my 308? He goes, well, they don't shoot that flat, but, they shoot them out to 800 to 1,000 yards as far as, in the service. So I said, man, I tell you what, I said, I've got a lot of confidence in that gun. Yeah, it kind of shoots like a rainbow, but dude, because you're a 308 guy just like I am. Man, we're launching stuff at those coyotes and hogs up to 400 yards. And, most of our deer shots were $150 on end. So I think I might use my Tango 51 308. What do you think about that? Yay or nay?
Dude, first off, I love that gun, that Tango. The couple of times I hunted with it, man, it's a phenomenal gun. I think it's a little heavy to be packing around there. If it was me, I'd go with a lighter grain on that 7 millimeter, because you shoot that thing lights out anyway. And I mean, that bullet, if you drop down to a 120 grain, would be screaming out there. I'd go with the 7 mag myself.
Well, no, I'm glad you said that, because I ran that by Mitch, but I just have so much confidence in that 308. But I was thinking about the 120 grain bullet as well. But since you reaffirmed that and you've been out there, I think I'm gonna go ahead. And I love that gun anyway. And, man, that's the one I built in. It's probably 92 or 93 when I was hunting with Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff out there in South Georgia in a little town called Ryan, Georgia. And that's where I found Sam, my pit bull, on the side of the road. And I built that gun. It's just got an old school what's that, 3-10, 40. No, I think it's a 50 millimeter objective on that. It might be 40. But
I was going to say, I don't think it's 50. I think it's 40.
I think it is 40, because back in those days, they weren't really making those things. So, and it's just old school, pretty fine crosshair on it. But, man, I love that gun, and it shoots like a damn bastard. So, I don't know. I think it just talked me into it. But he's already been back here scouting, because he's got a couple of guys hunting already, or that have scheduled hunts with him. He's booked up for the entire year already. So, man, I'm looking forward to it. Were you successful in your endeavor with your bow on the antelope?
No, I wasn't. I had a couple of close calls. I flung an arrow at one, that ill-advised shot. It was about 65 yards. And, I had been practicing, a 60, 70-yard shot. And in retrospect, just because I'm hitting a pie plate at, 60 yards, I shouldn't have shot, but hell, I missed anyway. But dude, it was fun. But like an idiot, I'm out there with a little plastic decoy, one of those cutout deals, and I'm crawling around on my hands and knees holding this damn plastic decoy up in front of me, Dances with Wolves. Like, I'm going to sneak up on one of those things. Not so much.
Well, dude, here's the thing. You probably already know this, but the pronghorn antelope, which is what we're going to be hunting, that's the fastest animal in North America.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they have basically 8-power vision. So, like when we're looking at something through a 10-power scope, well, let's put it this way. We see 20/20. And the way Mitch broke it down for me, if we see an antelope, let's just say he's 300 yards, we're seeing him at 20/20, 1 power. Well, he's looking back at, I don't know how many 20s he broke that down to. 160, 20. Because, dude, it's like they're sitting there looking back at us with a pair of binoculars.
Oh, yeah.
So, and man, those things, if they see you move, and you're basically right in front of them, they will haul ass. And we're probably going to take one of the buggies, or we might take both of the 4-wheelers. But nonetheless, I can only imagine, if you spook one of those bastards, it's going to be a long endeavor and quite a task to get back within range of that sumbitch.
Oh, dude, they're not like a mule deer. It's not gonna stop. You know how when you guys kicked up some mule deer, they'd go pogo in a little ways, and then they'd turn and look to see what was what. An antelope won't do that. I mean, an antelope will start beating feet, and they won't stop until they get over the next ridge. So you can pretty much count those as a loss. I think you guys will get up in the morning and glass them up somewhere, and try to figure out where they're heading to and set up an ambush point and let them come to you. When I had better chances when I was hunting in a pop-up blind, over a water hole or a travel route, because you can't sneak up on those things.
He's been out there archery hunting and black powder hunting and all that other stuff, dude. Yeah, that sounds great, but I know my best opportunity is going to be with the rifle. But I think he called me yesterday. I think I'll have the opportunity to do whatever I want, but I think my best chances with the rifle. I want to ask you one more question. We're going to talk about hunting all day if you listen to the podcast. But one more question I had for you because, I'm on Instagram at Steve Austin BSR, and you're on Instagram, Ted Fowler 361. Man, I follow a lot of these wildlife photographers who, they're not showing kill shots. They're taking pictures of wildlife, animals, stuff like that. But some of the ones I follow that are more hunting-based or that I frequent are hunting-based. You came out of Phoenix. I keep seeing these big-ass mule deer over, and I guess they got different units, kind of like Nevada does, but I keep calling it the Strip.
Yeah, the Kaibab Strip north of the Grand Canyon.
Dude, what in the hell? They got some big-ass mule deer over there. Holy shit.
That part of the Kaibab, it's Kaibab National Forest, the Grand Canyon area, and lower Utah, lower Colorado, that little area over there is just, world class for stud mule deer, but getting a tag, a rifle tag is extremely difficult. Back 20 years ago, before the side-by-sides became so popular, when it was a little more primitive, so to speak, dude, it was madness. And now with all the road hunters, it's tougher and tougher to get a good mule deer. But if you're ever going to get one, that would be the place to go. Either there or some of the Indian reservations in Northeast Arizona. Another hotbed if you can write the check for it.
Yeah, but you know what? From what I've gathered on the information, just Indian reservations and stuff like that. When you're on an Indian reservation, you're under their law. What's that called? God dang it.
Yeah, I know.
What I'm saying is, respectfully, I'm just saying, dude, if you do anything wrong, I mean, it's your ass. I mean, if you slip up or if you screw up or whatever, it's their way, and that's the only way. So, I mean, dude, we don't go around, screwing shit up anyway, but I'm just saying, dude, when you go on their land, that's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, dude, sovereign nation was
sovereign nation.
Yeah. No, dude, you're absolutely right. I mean, you get on the Indian reservations there, and it is a whole nother ball game. Now, when I was living back, in Arizona, if you didn't get drawn for archery elk, which is what I was always putting in for, we would go up to the White Mountain Indian Reservation because you could buy a cow tag over the counter.
Yep.
Because they got a phenomenal elk herd up there in the White Mountain Apache Indian Reservation. But yeah, dude, it was the real deal. You minded your P's and Q's. I mean, that little stint in Mexico, kind of smartened me up to, acting proper when you're away from home. Yeah, but I
mean, just like you're saying though, I was like, I see so many whitetail hunters that are hunting over in Mexico, and you've hunted over there.
Yeah.
Like if you're taking your gun and let's just say, and your whole car, your suitcase or your backpack or your duffel bags, you have one bullet. Maybe it belongs to a different gun of a different caliber. Dude, it's your ass. And
you're absolutely right.
They will clean you out, take all your shit or whatever they do, but it's a nightmare. So, that's why I never did really want to go hunting in Mexico because, dude, I graduated high school in 1983. Way back in the day, Mexico from Edna, Texas is 100 miles. Shit, man, dude, we go down there when I was in junior college or, just coming out of North Texas State. Dude, we drive across the border, go down there, just get shit-faced, drinking Coronas and having fun, not doing anything wrong, and not doing that shit she was doing. and just go down there drinking beer and raising down. Then we come back, and it wasn't nothing but a thing. But, when I started hunting in Del Rio with my dad, and, just things kind of started changing and shifting in a different direction. And now it's too much of a hassle with all the stuff going on, quite frankly.
Dude, I got invited to go bass fishing down there, a number of years ago. And the guy told me, he said, hey, you'll want to bring an extra wallet and put, $30, $40, $50 in it just to have on you. Keep the rest of your stuff, hidden in the vehicle or hidden in the boat. But if the thieves, the desperados, whatever, the criminal element shows up, which they probably will, they're going to rob us. So you got to give them, that token wallet. And I'm sitting there looking at the guys I'm going with going, hell, we can buy fish at the grocery store. What are we doing? I'm all about an adventure, don't get me wrong, but if we start off like that, it's like, holy cow. Yeah, so it's gotten worse and worse.
There was that group that was dove hunting down there a couple of years ago, and there was about 10 or 15 of these guys. I don't know if it was a sunflower patch or some kind of field out there that they was hunting in. Man, all of a sudden, a bunch of cars, SUVs, just kind of started circling the patch that they were on. And then all of a sudden, people started walking towards them. And, dude, a couple of them got rough house. A couple got beat up, took all their shit. It's just like, man, I enjoy hunting, but again, you kind of go into that element. I'm just not a fan.
Dude, I remember that. All them boys were from Texas, too.
Yeah, right, they were.
Yeah.
Hey, man, here's one thing I got to ask you about. Let's shift off hunting and stuff like that.
All right.
Dude, there's a thing out here. I don't know if y'all have them down there in Rockport in South Texas. They might not have made them down there yet, but you've seen one of those skateboards with a stick coming off of them and a pair of handlebars. And back in the old days, you'd put a foot on the scooter on a stick, and with your other foot, you'd kick the road behind you. Yeah. And it's just like riding a skateboard, except it's got a pair of handlebars on it via a stick, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, they're manual, and you use your own energy to push them down the road. Well, down here in Los Angeles and San Francisco and some of these other big cities, these contraptions are either called birds or limes, and they're different brands, and these things are electric. And I have yet to ask anybody how they keep those things charged. But anyway, they just kick them out. Basically, they just dump them all off at the beach. And there's a scanner or a barcode or whatever on the damn handlebars. And you got to download the app on your phone and gives you information. So then once you scan in your phone, all of a sudden, you just twist the throttle or push the thumb lever, whatever it is. And all of these damn birds are all over the mean streets of Los Angeles, California. And God dang, you talk about traffic. There's so many damn people on these things, Teddy. It just drives me crazy. And they got about a 250-pound weight limit. And I'll see these couples on there, and I'm thinking, okay, the guy weighs about 160, and the chick, maybe she weighs 130. That's 290. And there's two of them on this little bitty bastard scooter on a stick called a bird. First of all, did y'all have those things down there in South Texas yet?
No, dude. The only kind of bird we got is snowbirds, but we ain't got nothing motorized like that.
Dude, those things are they're thick as thieves out here, and they don't give a shit about any of the traffic laws. They run through stop signs. They think, okay, since I'm on the bird, I got the right of way. And boy, I tell you what, man, the other day, I don't know if you came down. Did we take you down to Venice Beach?
Yeah, I went down there with Kristen.
Okay,
yeah.
So when you go down to Venice Beach, you can get on the sidewalk, you can walk down the beach, but you can get on that bike path, which is kind of winding, a little bit closer to the ocean, and you can ride, all the way through Santa Monica, through damn near Malibu, almost, not quite. But, dude, that is a bike path. The other day, they set up like a roadblock, not for people that were drinking and riding the bird. It was because the bike path is strictly for people on a bike and a scooter on a stick. The bird ain't no bike. They confiscated 120 of those bastards in just a couple of hours. And they yanked them people off of them, gave them a ticket, and threw them in a pile, put them in a truck, and hauled them off.
See, dude, the key word there is sidewalk.
Yeah.
We ain't got sidewalks out here. I mean, there's some downtown, but once you leave, the 3-mile radius of the town, there aren't sidewalks.
Well, dude, they're going to come down there sooner or later, and you'll get a gut full of them like I did. But here's the thing, because they get parked in front of my house all the time. And the thing about it is, when you get through riding it, Ted, just say you were coming to my house and you were going to ride over on a Bird and spend a night. You just park that Bird out on the sidewalk, and then if someone else wanted a Bird, they get on their app and say, oh, there's one right over by Gimmick Street. I'll just go get on that, because I think you can lock them up temporarily if you're going to keep using it or keep your meter running, so to speak. But other than that, dude, you just turn them loose, and then some other cat or kitten gets on the damn thing and just speeds away and rides it, and then they start, charging. They get charged for it, based on, the scanning the barcode and getting on their system. So, dude, they just dump them out. They don't really have a home, and wherever they end up, they end up. But I guess there's a GPS tracking device on them, and that's how they locate them and keep people from shanghaiing them and stealing them and taking them down to South Texas and Rockport. But it's a damnedest thing. You can't appreciate the discombobulation and confusion and, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say rage. It just pisses me off when these idiots get on these damn things. And see, here's the thing, Teddy. These people get on this sidewalk right in front of my house, and when I'm backing out of my driveway, I always back out real slowly. So, because I got a rear view camera, on my damn vehicle, and I'm just waiting for one of these damn people to broadside me in one of them Birds. And how are they going to pay for the damage? Because ain't nobody got no insurance. Ain't nobody wearing no helmet. Am I going to get sued when it wasn't my fault? If you're trying to back out of your damn driveway. I don't wear shit while I'm watching these damn things, Teddy.
Dude, that would drive me crazy that they can just, go to their destination and just dump it. Just say, I'm done with it, and I'm leaving it outside of, your gate, or leave it outside of this restaurant or this bar or whatever. That part would drive me crazy. No, dude, but you're absolutely right. I mean, they want to treat it like a motorized vehicle, but you don't have to have insurance on it. Yeah, somebody T-bones you, and, there's nothing but a lawsuit, and guess who's left holding the bag?
But, I will say, I think the damn things are tougher than a cockroach, because I ain't never seen one broken down. They're riding the shit out of them. They're piling two people on there. I've seen people in excess of, a couple of 300 pounds on them bastards. And they're motoring along about 12 miles an hour. And so they seem extremely dependable. And you know what? I would like to ride one, because it looks like a fun little gimmick. But I'm not going to ride one because, I got my own shit going on. But I think it'd be cool to tool around on one. I just don't want to be one of the many idiots that are riding one of them damn things. And, I'd like to ride one, Teddy, but I ain't going to be seeing one. You know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, if you change your mind, please have Kristen film it.
Dude, those things got about 3 or 4 inch wheels on it. I'm the son of a bitch who'd be riding that damn thing, hit a little pebble in the middle of the road, and that son of a bitch would stop, lickety split, and I would go flying ass over tea kettle on that son of a bitch.
Oh, dude, old style skateboarding. You remember that.
Oh, dude. Shit. Here's another thing. Okay, here's my last thing before I get off on that Bird tangent. Okay, Teddy, there's thousands of those things all over Los Angeles, and I think San Francisco has about had a gut full of them. But here's the thing. The bicycle has been around for a long-ass time. It's a very efficient way to get from one place to another, right? And it's very green. My question is, if those things had not been electric, if they were just scooters on a stick that you had to kick them manually, but they dumped them all out so you could still have access to them, would people use them?
No.
Hell no, they wouldn't. It's a damn free ride. The things go 12 miles an hour when traffic's backed up wherever I live. Out here in Lincoln and in Venice and in Santa Monica and all these places, they're handy as hell. They're very convenient. But I guarantee you, if those some bitches were just manual kick, nobody would be riding them. And now, god dang man, I live on a big ass wide street, and now the thing is, these guys are riding those electric skateboards. And they're damn heavy set wheels, wide boards, about 3 foot long. And these things go about 15 or 20 miles an hour. And you can see them coming because they're hauling ass. And, me, back in my old skateboard days, shit, man, that's when we still had metal wheels. So you ain't going to find me on a bird. You ain't going to find me on an electric skateboard. So I'm just watching all this shit, but it just bamboozles me. It's cool to see the technology and all that stuff. It's cool to see how handy they are. Yeah, I wouldn't mind riding one just around the block a couple times just to kind of get a feel for it, but they're a pain in the ass.
Dude, I don't know about you, but when I drive, I mean, I look for, obviously, other vehicles and motorcycles. You know what I mean? I don't, because living out here in the country, we ain't got all of that, peripheral movement with the skateboards and the birds and the limes and all that stuff. I wouldn't, if somebody was riding down the road on one of those things, my fear is that if it wasn't an automobile or a motorcycle, my brain would not acknowledge that, and I'd just keep backing out, so I'd probably crush a couple of those people. I can see that as a problem.
Dude, you got a motorcycle, don't you?
Yeah.
You got one of those big wheel things.
Yes, sir. Got drunk and drove it off in a ditch. You bet.
Dude, you got a 350?
No, that's 200? A 200. That's 200.
Is yours a Yamaha or a Honda?
It's a Yamaha.
Does it still run?
Oh, you bet.
How fast will that thing go? 45? Does it have a speedometer on it?
Yeah, it's got a speedometer on it. No, it does not have a speedometer on it. It'll probably go 40, 45.
You ever ride that thing on the streets?
Yeah, dude, but those tires, those big knobby tires, because you don't inflate them up a bunch, and besides that, I'm a pretty good load to put on that thing right now. It gets a little squirrely on the blacktop. I don't like it on the blacktop, so I'll fire it up, and get in the state land over here, besides the property, and go peeling around a little bit, come back to the house.
Yeah, those things are great for that. But, to your point, when you're running a low-pressure tire, and even me on my four-wheeler, sometimes I'll jump on my four-wheeler, and I'll leave the house, and I'll head over to the public land that I can ride on. And I used to, just put the four-wheeler in the back of the truck, back it down, then ride, then load it back up, and then go home. And I said, well, shit. I see everybody else riding their shit on the side of the road. They're just taking it easy, going to the place to ride, so I figure I'd do the same. My point is, even on a four-wheeler, and you're talking about low-pressure tires and two wheels, even when you get on the four-wheeler, dude, that brute force I got's brand new. But when you're running on four tires, low-pressure tires, dude, if you're hauling ass and you go over that crown in the middle of the road, you got to be real careful when you're running. That damn thing will go 65, 70 miles an hour.
Right.
But even on those low-pressure tires are just a little discombobulating. So, dude, I always take it easy and ride about 40, 45 on the shoulder. But sometimes I'll kick it up just to haul ass. And, yeah, low-pressure tires and high speed makes for a little bit of a shaky experience.
Oh, yeah, dude. And I got the bright idea. I don't know what I saw on YouTube or the internet or something. Those guys on those cafe racers pulling wheelies and doing all of that stuff. So here I am out in the road in front of the house on the blacktop in my flip-flops and shorts, pulling a wheelie on that big wheel, trying to, get the hang of that with that soft tire and my big ass on the back of that. No helmet, nothing. I did that for about 2 weeks every night trying to learn how to pop wheelies. And I was like, yeah, I've done dumber stuff. I can't think of anything, right off the top of my head. But yeah, that's not a good smart move either.
Dude, I got that dirt bike, and ever since you saw it last time you rode it, I had a stiffer spring put in the back suspension because, out of the factory, those things are made for guys that weigh 150, 160.
Right.
Most of those motocross guys, they're not heavy guys, but man, they can haul ass and ride the shit out of a motorcycle. So when you put my big ass on that bitch, that 450 kind of goes, oh.
Yeah, dude, but that dirt bike's spooky, man.
Oh, dude, are you kidding me? So that's what I'm getting to when I ride that thing down the road, because sometimes I ride it over the public land, and what's that bike technically is not street legal. It can be made street legal, but it is technically not street legal. And the thing that really gets me about that is, man, I can use my hand signals and stuff like that, but the thing about it is, it ain't got no rear view mirrors on it.
Right.
And when you're on a highway, or like not a highway, but just a busier road, or there's traffic on it, Dude, when you're trying to come to a stop and I'm wearing a full face helmet and you cannot see behind you, I'm always worried about some bitch running my ass over, because you see it all the time. So that's the thing that makes me nervous about that bastard, is not being able to see behind me. But to your point, man, I said on my Instagram account, I watch all those guys on the motorcycles and stuff like that, man. They'll be riding through town, and whether it's on dirt bikes or just, crotch rockets, street racers or whatever, dude, those guys are pulling up wheelies, going through the gears. Some of them going 160, 170 miles an hour. Some of them will pull them up straight up vertical, drag their back fender or their license plate on the asphalt behind them, and just keep riding the shit out of them. And for me, when I was in my I want to ride a wheelie stage, dude, when I get that thing off that front wheel off the ground by about a foot and a half, I'm already thinking the worst is going to happen, and I shut it down. Once I go past, dude, and when you pop a wheelie, the sweet spot is that balancing act of feathering that throttle or whatever you do to maintain that position. Once I get, past that one spot, dude, that happened to me a long time ago when I had a YZ490 when I was living in Georgia working for WCW. And I came back from 3 weeks on the road, and first thing I did was jump on that dirt bike and boy, when I hit third gear, that power band hit, and I started flipping and sliding down the damn grass, and I sold it 2 days later. So my wheelie expertise ain't worth a shit.
Now, I got to tell you, I'm doing about 8 miles an hour down Prairie Road on that big wheel trying to pull them wheelies. So I'm not, one of them YouTube guys, racing down the road. But yeah, you get to that sweet spot, which I never really, came to grips with, because I would always get squirrely before I was there, and let the front wheel go down. It's probably the safest thing.
Well, there's something about, I don't know, maybe I've been hitting the head so many damn times, or I don't know. I think I'm just as brave as I used to be. I'm still stupid, but I'm not as stupid I used to be. So there's something about a wheelie. Once I get past that point of no return, I don't know. I'm just, I don't think I'm ever going to learn how to ride a wheelie. So now I just try to keep both wheels on the pavement or on the dirt.
Nothing wrong with that mindset.
All right, let's take a quick pause for the calls and give big ups to TrueCar. If you're looking to buy a car, you're probably familiar with terms like MSRP. You might even know what it stands for, but what does it actually mean? And the same goes for invoice, list price, and dealer price. It's enough to confuse anybody. All you're really looking for is a price that actually means something. Introducing True Price from TrueCar. Now you can know exactly what you'll pay for the car you want, including fees and accessories, before you even get to the dealership. TrueCar dealers will show you the true price on cars like the one you want, all from the comfort of home. And how do you know if your true price is a great price? Because TrueCar shows you what other people paid for the same car you want. And your certified dealers know this, so they set their true price competitively so they can win your business. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. You're also going to need car insurance for that new vehicle. Go to geico.com, and in 15 minutes, you could be saving 15% or more on car insurance. That's right. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance at geico.com. Extra money in your pocket? It may just be the most rewarding thing you do today. All right, baseball fans, it is summer. Your boys are back, and PodcastOne has your new favorite podcast, Baseball and Chill. Listen each week to Kelly Nash and Scott Braun from the MLB Network as they cover all the big storylines and trending topics on and off the diamond. Some past guests include Baseball Hall of Famer John Smoltz and New York Yankees legend Joe Girardi. Listen free to Baseball and Chill every Tuesday, exclusively on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOneSports.com, and the PodcastOne app. If you love the show, share it with a friend, and leave a rating and review. It's an exciting time in the gambling betting world, so we here at the Steve Austin Show are proud to announce that BetOnline is the exclusive partner with PodcastOne Sportsnet. These are our go-to guys, the guys we trust for all things betting, lines, odds, wagers, inside info, you name it. And wouldn't you know it, football season is right around the corner. If you want in on the action, then betonline.ag is your main destination. Head over to betonline.ag and use promo code PODCAST1. That's PODCAST and the number 1 to receive a 50% sign-up bonus today. One more time, betonline.ag and use promo code PodcastOne and start winning with your online sportsbook experts.
This is the Steve Austin Show.
You were talking about being on that 200cc motorcycle you got, and
yes,
you were saying something about your weight. Are you training? Are you dieting?
Dude, now that I had that chick come into town for a little liaison, if you will. Now that she's gone, I'm back to where I need to be, working on getting my diet right, slowing down my drinking as best I can. Yeah, but I got a good head of steam up before her visit, and then not to blame it on her, but shit, it doesn't take much for me to be irresponsible. And yeah, no, all the hard work was quickly shot right in the ass, and now I'm back to, where I started, but it's all right, man. It's all right.
So is this a serious relationship, Teddy? Do I hear wedding bells in your future? Do you need a best man?
You remember who you're talking to, right?
It ain't nothing for me to fly down there and be that guy.
Dude, I appreciate that. And then if it comes down to the old tuxedo rental, it'll be one of those rent by the hour deals. You'll be the first one to know.
I said I'd be your best man. I ain't say nothing about no tuxedo. I'm wearing my camo shorts.
Goddamn, we're going to do Dumb and Dumber. I'm wearing orange, you're wearing blue.
Dude, I'm wearing the same shit I hunt in. Flip-flops, camouflage shorts, and a dry-fit sleeveless T-shirt.
Shit, if I tell you that I'm getting married, you dress in that very attire, grab your 7mm and come to Rockport.
No, I'm just going to whomp you on the head with a shovel. God damn, how are you, Teddy? Are you 51 or 2?
I'm 52.
You still got a couple good years left in you, man.
Dude, I got a lot of good years, man. The whole pharmaceutical thing has just elevated my game. Shit, I'm still a little rattled over you asking me if I was going to get married. Damn.
Well, man. Well, here's the thing. So you had a girl, a young lady, come visit you for a while, and so I know that construction business is booming down there in Rockport, Texas. Every time I've talked to you or texted you, you're going from one job to the next. How do you sit there and entertain somebody because you're always at work?
Dude, that was the bad part of it. But she understood. And besides that, the chick sleeps like Rip Van Winkle. I mean, Jesus, I've never seen anybody, stay in bed so long. It's like, shit, I drink until 11, go to bed, get up at 5:30, and we're rocking and rolling first thing in the morning. Well, hell, she's sawing logs. So I'd get the guy started. We'd work for a while, and I'd peel off and say, hey man, you guys, and I'm open with my guys. It's not like I can, hey, I've got to go get some more 2x4s. I'll be back in 3 hours, with different shorts and a different T-shirt on. I'm like, hey, I got that chick at the house. I'm going to go cook her breakfast and, take care of business. You guys, don't cut any fingers off and, just keep doing what you're doing and I'll catch up with you. So I would come back to the house and, trying to be, the host of the year, well, I came back specifically to make you breakfast. Here's some juice. Here's, yeah, dude, and you know me, it's like, dude, really, what happened to Teddy? So I'd make breakfast and take care of business. I'd be like, hey, I got to go back to work. I'll see you, 2:00, we'll go to lunch or something. I'd do the very same thing, go back to work for a few hours, say, hey guys, I gotta split. My guys work from 7 to 2:30, so they get paid, 8 hours no matter what we do, so I cut them a little slack that way. I'd say, hey, you guys, finish up, clean up, lock everything up in the trailer, and I'll come back later and get it. Hell, I'd take her to lunch. We'd go do that. I'd drop her back off at the house for her afternoon nap. I'd go back and get the trailer, and then I'd take care of more business. And then 6:30, 7 o'clock, once the evening was done, then it would be, regular entertainment. But yeah, it was taxing. I felt bad because I left the chick alone all the time, but shit, hey, money's got to be made.
Well, dude, how long does your girlfriend sleep when you go to bed? And then how long of a nap does she take during the daytime?
Dude, if we hit the rack at 10:30, if I come back at 9:30 the next morning, she's still slobbering on the pillow. It's like, hey, man, wake up. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it. I don't know if she got I was going to say not sleep apnea, but narcolepsy. Yeah. I know she ain't got sleep apnea. I got, yeah. No, I think she's just a touch of narcolepsy or something, but hey, do what you got to do.
So how long will the afternoon nap last?
Probably from 2 to 5.
God dang, dude, if I could sleep like that, I'd be shit. Well, I'm worthless.
Don't be so hard on yourself, kid.
I was going to make up some grandiose story about if I could sleep. God dang, dude, I go to bed right now, Teddy, because I was getting up at 4:30 to go to the gym, and I shut that shit down. Now I'm just training in the afternoon when no one's at the gym. But these days, I'm in bed and lights out by 9:30, 9:45, and that's a world record for me. This is the first time I've ever done this in a long time. Still, I'm going to wake up every single night, 2:15, probably wake up again about 4:30. And my alarm goes off at 6, or I'll wake up automatically at 6 and start drinking coffee. But, dude, if I could get 8 hours of sleep, just a straight 8 hours of sleep, I would be platinum. And then if you want to put, a little hour power nap in there, double platinum. Shit. I'd be unstoppable.
You're going to bed at 9:30 because I'm not in your life anymore.
That is partially true.
I get enough sleep, I think. You know what I mean? My body hasn't crapped out on me yet, but left to my own devices, I stay up until probably 10, 11 o'clock at night watching TV, and then drinking Jack and Coke, doing my thing. The fortunate deal, I'll go to bed, bring the dogs in, put my machine on, my breathing machine, set my alarm clock for, 5:30 or 5:40. I do not move all night. I don't get up. I don't have to go to the John. I don't have to get a drink. I don't toss, turn, nothing. I cross my hands on my chest like I'm dead, and I go to sleep. I get up, let those dogs out, feed them, start drinking coffee. I'll work until maybe 1 o'clock. I'll come back to the house, take a quick shower, lay down for about 30 minutes. And, dude, I'm ready to rock and roll until 10, 11 o'clock that night.
My problem is, man, I'll get down in bed, and this is before I got on my new kick. Well, my problem is, if I was sitting there in the drinking phase, I'll sit there and get a buzz going, get on YouTube, whether I'm looking at music videos or how-to videos or whatever. Shit, man, then I'll go from one music video to another. And then by the time I realize that shit, it's 12:30, 1 o'clock, 1:30, and I still ain't gone to sleep yet. Or maybe I dozed off, then I woke back up, went and made another drink, and there I am back at it. So that's complete bullshit. But what I started doing now, how we used to train at the ranch?
Yeah.
Dude, we trained together. We'd have some badass workouts. Now, we were both half pickled. And we was running on no sleep because we're getting up at the crack of dawn. We're in a deer stand. We're both gutting deer. And then we do our things, whether I'm riding a tractor, you would ride a tractor, or we're just, we had our things where I would go do my work, you would do your work, we'd tag team something. And then we take a little cat nap in the middle of the afternoon. You come over to number one. Shit, we'd have, either 1 or 2 triple margaritas, and we go sit in a deer stand where it's probably about 90 degrees. We'd sweat our ass off. And then, we'd clean some deer, and we'd eat dinner, and we'd start drinking again. And there was just a vicious repeat cycle. But we were having damn good workouts for a while. I was just talking about this on the opening my podcast on last Tuesday. And when you're kind of just, I don't know where you're at with your training, but kind of when you're just going through the motions, you're training, but there's not enough intensity behind the training, and you're just kind of spinning your wheels. Have you been there, or are you there now?
Dude, I'm there now. You know what I mean? I'll pick up some weights and start throwing them around, and then go, change the station on the TV, or, I'll iTunes playing through the stereo and go jacking around with songs and come back. And, dude, it wasn't like that when we were working out. I mean, we were, go, bust, bust. And now I'm kind of, flitzing around, phone will ring. It'd be one of my buddies, so I'll stop and talk to him and then get back to working out. And it's like, hey, dude, it's not that it's detrimental. The working out isn't detrimental, but you're certainly not benefiting from it going at it at this pace.
Well, the thing about it is it's better than nothing. But if you're trying to attain a certain goal, if you're not applying any intensity behind it, why do it?
Exactly.
So my point is, I'm blowing smoke up my ass, but I finally said, F it, man, dude, get your ass busy. You need to do something because you ain't training hard enough. And I think one of the things was, a friend of mine came by and he's getting ready for a bodybuilding contest, and those guys are training over at Gold's Gym at 4 a.m. and just really pushing each other, kind of like we did back in the day, or when I was training at World Gym with my old training partner. And dude, when you're benching and you're trying to get a couple of forced reps, you can get an extra 2 or 3 reps with your spotter, or as many as you want with your spotter. But dude, when that shit starts getting heavy and it's just you, and it's like, hey, I better rack this shit because the next one probably ain't coming up. And most of the time I never use collars on the bar, so I could do the old dump, one side then the other, and that's a cluster. You can still push yourself. You just don't need to get under any appreciable weight. But, man, I'll tell you what, ever since I started really focusing in, and, one of my things is you're always searching for the best training program, right? The best training routine.
Mm-hmm.
The best training routine, there ain't no secrets. You got to put in your time, pick a routine, and just stick with it and repeat. So, dude, now I'm just training each body part once every 6 to 7 days, and I go in there and I focus completely on that body part. I blow it out. I train heavy, and then when I have to lighten up, I start lightening up. And, I feel 10 times better than I was feeling. And then on my cardio, I got one of those, you ever watch football when we see those guys on the sideline riding those bicycles where the handlebars move to?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I got one of those at my house, so that's what I use for cardio. It's an Assault Air Bike or a Schwinn Airdyne. And so, man, you can get on that thing and just pedal like a bastard. And I got on this program. It's like to see how fast you can burn, X amount of calories. And their test was 300 calories. Well, it was going to take me too long because I didn't want to do cardio all day long. I didn't want to do an hour a day, none of that bullshit. So all I do now, I start off from zero. I warm up, and then I just pedal like a sumbitch till I burn 200 calories. And so now each day my time is getting less and less as I'm getting in better shape. So now that I'm really busting a sweat, I'm not tanking my liver with all that tequila and sugar from those damn Broken Skull Ranch margaritas, and I got my program on as far as my training goes. Dude, I feel a shit pile better. A shit pile.
See, I need to, find some type of motivation to get back at it, But right now, my schedule is so hectic and so chaotic, because I'd be working alongside the guys, every day, and I would peel off for, maybe 2 hours to go meet with other customers and line up other jobs. And then I'd come back and put my tool belt back on and get after it. And now it is the exact opposite. I mean, I went and looked at 2 roofs today, went and returned some material from another job, went to the lumber yard, ordered some windows. So I'm dumping my guys at the job site and going, hey man, you guys, you know what I want, how I want it. Don't get hurt, do the best you can. And I just pop back in from time to time and ask them if they need anything. You need, ice, water, nails, lumber, where are we at? No, man, we're good. You can leave, because they don't like it when I show up because I'm, this isn't straight, redo that, pull this off, do that. And it's like, oh, God, so I'm like the terrible parent. But my schedule right now is so screwy. Well, we were supposed to talk last night. What I text you at 6 o'clock, 6:30 that I just gotten home, just walked in the door. And I said, hey, I'll be done at 3 tomorrow. I got to the house about 4:30 And I'm like, how can you, because I'm such a creature of habit and I'm so OCD, everything has to be on a schedule. It was easy, during deer season because we had our regiment and I just ate that up because it was, a schedule and I knew exactly what I was doing. And it's not like that right now. And I need to find that for my workouts to get right.
Well, when you told me you was going to be home at 3 p.m., I kind of took that with a grain of salt. I was like, man, ain't no way.
Good intentions. They lead somewhere.
But like you said, I mean, that structure or that routine every single day, man, I kind of thrive on that because I don't really like change. So, if it's, task oriented or time oriented or whatever, or we're going through the paces and every day is the same. I mean, it's a different activity. We're both doing work. We're both hunting. Both got to train, get our shit in. So when you got a schedule set up like that, it's real easy to just get in it and grind.
Yes. Yeah.
But the problem was we was grinding too hard before the hunt and after the hunt with all that damn alcohol, dude.
Oh, dude, I think the only way we stayed relatively fit was by sitting in that hot-ass deer blind and sweating so much.
Well, shit, how is work?
Oh, dude, work is work. I mean, it's, making money, which is always a good thing. There's plenty of work to be done. The out-of-town contractors are, both a blessing and a curse. I mean, like I said before, Rockport could not rebuild itself with just the local, I don't want to say talent, but the local construction workforce that it had. We had too big a problem here to be solved by, the few guys we had down here that knew what was going on. Now you interject a bunch of folks from out of town that are, and I'm motivated by money as well. However, I've got ties to the community. It's in my best interest to rebuild this place as best I can. I'm from here. I will continue to live here. People know me. You got people coming in, doing their stuff, taking their money and, working Monday through Friday, getting paid and going back to their town and spending the money, not putting it back into the community, not investing in the community, and dude, if you're, if you're like me, that's not cool.
Dude, what do you use for your work truck now? Because you had that old Ford, but I think you sold it.
No, I still got it.
You said you said you were going to sell it.
I sold the Chevy.
Oh, the one you used to drive back and forth to the ranch?
Yes, sir.
I can't believe you parted with that truck. For
$3,500. Yours truly would do a lot of stuff.
Who was the lucky devil that bought it from you?
Oh, dude, some kid that wanted to drive it of all places. His parents bought it, and he lived in California, and he wanted it to pull an RV around. These people came up with a handful of cash, and boy, they were the second happiest ones. So yeah, I sold them that, and they drove off into the sunset. I've still got the white Ford. That I now, that's my full-time work truck because I've got 3 guys working for me, and a couple of them are young kids and they're high school buddies, so they're inseparable. But I'll let them come over to the house in the morning and get that truck, and now I'm having them drive to the lumberyard to pick up material, or we'll throw construction debris in it and take it to the landfill. I drive around in the Dodge. So I'm pulling the trailer with the Dodge. I'll pull it to the job site and unhook it, line everybody out, and then go on about my business for the day. So yeah, that Dodge of mine that I, had in the garage is creeping up on 150,000 miles.
That thing holding together for you? Because dude, that was kind of your personal truck.
Yeah. No, I got, once we worked some of the bugs out of that Dodge, I mean, it's been fine. I'll never buy another one, and you know how fondly I speak of marriage, and I'll never get married again. So you can kind of put 2 and 2 together as far as what I think about that Dodge. But it's paid for. So it starts, the air blows cold, I'm happy with it, and I got that black Suburban. I fire that son of a gun up every once in a while, take it down to the car wash, shine it up, put it back in the garage, put the cover on it.
Teddy, got a question. Why can a car park itself these days, but we have to drive across town to take a test drive if we want to try out a new car? Why can we get approved for a mortgage at lightning speed, but buying a new car takes an entire day? And what's the deal with cruise control? Seriously. Well, our friends at Hyundai have wondered about all those things too and are making it all possible now with the all-new Shopper Assurance that includes flexible test drive. It comes to you, transparent pricing for convenience, streamlined purchase for efficiency, and a 3-day worry-free exchange. Future of car buying is now available in the present. Car buying made easier. It's now possible with Shopper Assurance. Visit HyundaiUSA.com for all the information. One more time, that's HyundaiUSA.com. Dude, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you tell me that Ford was a straight six?
Yes, sir.
Manual transmission?
No, it's got an automatic tranny. It has I put a new transmission in it about 3 years ago. Thing has 260,000 miles. Doesn't smoke, doesn't leak oil, AC works, radio works, the old crank down windows. Yeah, that thing's showtime for a work truck.
Man, here's the thing. If you put a couple of people that weren't very old in that pickup truck and said, hey, man, just drive this truck around for a day or two, and your air conditioner was broke, I don't think they'd know how to roll the windows down. I'm serious.
I know, dude.
You don't see a vehicle with roll down windows anymore. They don't exist.
No. We got one alive and well here in Rockport.
Well, man, I was riding. I got a U-joint out on my Dodge Ram Charger, and I was riding that thing in Nevada the other day, and that thing started, bang, bang, bang. The sound it makes. Shit, Mitch was over there. We diagnosed that. And that thing still runs like a champ. And I got that 318 in that thing, and I love that vehicle, and I'll never sell it. And I'm only the second owner. It's a 1988. What's wrong? Is your Dodge, is that the 360?
Oh, dude, you know more about vehicles than me. It's not a Hemi. It's not the Magnum V8. It's like the MaxiPad V8 or something. I mean, it ain't got power for crap. No, dude, it does not.
Well, I mean, I said the same thing about my 2003 Chevy, which I got in Nevada. That 5.3 liter. Now, that thing has a shift kit on it, in the transmission. It has headers and exhaust. And it used to be supercharged, but I pulled that supercharge. It ran like a bastard when I had that supercharge on there. But when I decharged it, it's like, man. When I was pulling my empty utility trailer from Texas to California a couple years ago, and I was like, are you shitting me? It's going to kick down and kick down and kick up. I mean, it drove me crazy. That motor won't pull piss.
Well, dude, I jump in that Suburban, and the motor that thing's got on it, plus it's supercharged.
Yep.
Man, you put your foot in it, which I enjoy doing, and you be screaming down the road in real short order. Now, change that around, get in the Dodge from a dead stop, put your foot into it, not enough to make the tires squeal, but get you rolling and floor it. The RPMs go up to about 6,000 before the tranny wakes up and goes, oh, hey, maybe I should shift up and start going. So you've got that real high engine rev. It's almost like you missed a gear. Riding a dirt bike. That's the thing with that Dodge, and it's like, Jesus. Like I said, I'll never buy another one.
Do you think about getting another pickup truck anytime in the near future?
You know what? I got Chris looking at some. He likes to look at those auctions there in Florida, and ideally, what I'd like to get is like a 3/4 ton Ford 4-door, and I'm thinking diesel. But I don't. I've never owned a diesel before, so I don't know.
You looking used or new?
No, used. They get those on the auction that there was a little bit of body damage from a wreck, or somebody got killed in it or something, or and that's a real deal. They got some that are they claim them to be biohazard, so they can't turn them and resell them, so they sell them on on the auction circuit with, like a reclaimed title or something. So as long as you can write the check for it and you're not financing it, you can buy it.
Man, those auctions are the best place to go get a vehicle. I got a buddy out of Houston who sells, all kinds of cars, but he more or less deals in those high-end cars, sports cars, crazy shit, exotics. Man, he come out here, we go down to Riverside, go to the auction. Hell, I bought Kristen a Lexus, it was like a, IS350, LS350, whatever the hell it was. And way back in the day, I bought a 2007 Corvette, and hell, that thing only had 4,000 or 5,000 miles. That's the best place to get a car just because you get a deal on them.
Oh, dude, back in the day, through a buddy I had, his sister worked at the bank. I went to a bank auction, picked up a black 280ZX, T-tops, leather interior. I mean, cheap, man. I thought I was, walking on the sun with that thing. Yeah.
Dude, the last year of that body style was 83 for the 280ZX. And then they changed it for that. Was it the 300 that came out?
300, yes, sir.
Yep. Yeah. But, man, I love the 83 280ZX, but not the 2+2 one, the 280ZX. What'd you do with that thing?
I sold it after I got married. Imagine that. She said that I needed something a little more responsible, so I had her snowed as to my character. We put an ad.
What do you do when your brand new wife says, go sell the 280ZX, which is a dream car for a lot of people, and those old 240s are legends. So you got this badass car, 5-speed?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you bastard. So anyway, your wonderful wife tells you to go sell it. What did you get that was more responsible?
A white Chevy pickup truck. Just a very standard stock,
Dude, I generic. Can't never pick on a pickup truck.
No, dude, but you know what? Nothing says I'm a player like a 280ZX. Nothing. You talk about removing your player card. It's like, what, were they all out of minivans? We had to go with a truck. It's like, yeah. So that should have been my first telltale sign that the marital bliss wasn't all that it was cracked up to be.
How long did that marriage last?
2 painful years.
God dang.
Yeah.
I was working for WCW, and we was all up down the road, and I needed something that's going to get some good gas mileage. So I went and got me a gunmetal blue Honda CRX. Old school. You don't see those things anymore. I saw one a couple of days ago. I often give a guy a fist bump. I think he thought I was crazy. These days, they look like a little box of shit. But, dude, you talk about a good-ass car. Kevin Nash was my riding partner back in the day, and Kevin's a shoot 6'11", 6'10", 6'11", and man, we would put our gear in the back, and we would ride to all the shows, within driving distance of Atlanta, and dude, with the seat pushed all the way back, the seat back, leaned back. Kevin had plenty of room. You talk about it. That was an outstanding road car. Handled good, always dependable. Shit, I was getting 50 miles a gallon. We wasn't making shit, but god dang, I was getting good gas mileage in that damn thing. And that was one of those cars. I'm not going to go buy one now, but I wish I would have kept that one. Just like you and your 280ZX. It's not something you want to go rebuy now because the technology's so old. But if you still had it, it'd be cool, a cool car to still possess.
Dude, I would drive that thing to some of the out-of-town softball tournaments, and I remember I had a car cover for it because I was real proud of it. Hell, I'd go play softball all day, and a lot of the guys would stay in the hotels up there and leave back, the next morning and come back to Phoenix. I'd start driving back to the house. I'd get tired and pull over in a rest area. I'd curl up in the back of that 280ZX and wrap up in that car cover and sleep for a few hours, and when I woke up, I'd start hauling back to the house, man. I loved that car. Yeah, a lot of good times there.
When I first broke in Dallas, Texas in 1990, man, I needed someone to, ride with, and two of the guys that I rode with was Skandar Akbar, the manager, and Bronco Lubitz, the referee. And Bronco had an old Delta 88 with the velour interior, and I was always in the back seat going on trips to Louisiana and stuff like that. And man, those guys were dropping knowledge on me. I was like a sponge soaking up all the stories, trying to figure out how this shit works, psychology and heels and baby faces and all that stuff. But one of my other guys that I rode with was gorgeous Gary Young. And Gary, man, that guy was an awesome hand in the ring, and he had a 280ZX, and by the time it was all said and done, from when he started in wrestling to when I was traveling with him, and then when he got out of the business, and I think he's managing a Chili's over there in Arkansas, where he's from right now. Dude, he put 1,000,000 miles on his 280ZX. 1,000,000 shoot miles.
Dude, I don't doubt it, man. I mean, those motors back in the day, they're very low maintenance. As long as you keep oil and keep a little coolant in them, it's showtime.
Dude, if the inside of that car could talk, you talking about a best-selling. The story about that car and all the shit that happened in it needs to be in a movie or in a big-ass long book.
I heard that. Man, have you watched any good TV shows of late?
I'm glad you asked me that because, yes, I have. And I kind of say that with a caveat. And I didn't know what a caveat is. I just figured I'd say it. Right now, me and Chris are watching Longmire.
All right.
You watched it?
No, I haven't seen it. I saw some buzz on that deal on Twitter. No, I haven't seen that.
Dude, it's about like, I think they're over in Wyoming. Is it Montana or Wyoming? I think it's Wyoming. Anyway, dude's a Sheriff Longmire, Walt Longmire. And he's the sheriff in this small town. Has got some a woman that's on the police force, and then her name's Vic. And then you got Branch, and then you got a guy that plays kind of the dumb guy. I forget his name. Ferg. Anyway, so Longmire solves all these crimes and everything like this. And it's kind of it's not as complex writing as like Breaking Bad or Ozark or Bloodline or something like that. And it's like each episode, whatever happens, where someone gets murdered or someone's missing, the crime is going to get solved within a 55-minute period. And it always seems to happen right towards the finish. It's kind of like, did you watch Perry Mason when you was a kid?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Perry Mason was must-watch TV, black and white. And every time Perry would get over in the courtroom, all the odds stacked against him, and that guy he was always going against on the other side of the courtroom. But all of a sudden, every single time, damn near, it was the same thing. He got someone on the witness stand or whatever you call it, and basically got him to break down and confess to everything that they had done. Longmire's kind of the same way, but not everybody confessing, but all of a sudden Walt and sometimes his group of people that work with him, they'll start, just putting all the details together, and all of a sudden, case closed, everything's settled, or whatever, is the case is solved, and you go on to the next one. So in that regard, it's kind of simple, but it's just kind of, and I'm not running down the show because I'm watching the show, but it's like when you're watching Breaking Bad or Ozark or Walking Dead, something like that, you cannot look at the computer while you're watching because you've got to pay attention to every detail and every storyline, and you just don't want to take your eyes off the screen. With Longmire, I never take my eyes off the screen, but you could probably surf the internet while you're watching it and listen to the show. And the best part of the show, Teddy, Walt Longmire drives a 1995, I guess it's a 1995, because they're 92 through 96. Last year they made it was 96. You've got the same body style Bronco as I do. I got a 95 Ford Bronco, white and silver, and his is white and maroon, the maroon being the middle stripe. So, dude, he's driving a Ford Bronco. He's representing the Bronco crowd. So, he's got the coolest ride in wherever that, Wyoming or Montana, whatever. What are you watching?
I just finished the first season of a show called Goliath. It's a Billy Bob Thornton deal on it's either on Netflix or Hulu. I can't remember. Good? Man, I really enjoyed it. He is an attorney. Had some problems with alcoholism and got kicked out of the big law firm that he helped create. And, it's kind of, the whole David against Goliath, type of setting where, he very first season, he took on his ex-business partner and, a wrongful death suit, and, everything was against him. And he, of course, pulls it out at the end for, a huge settlement. And then so I just started season 2. And one of the assistants he's got she's smoking hot. She just happens to be a hooker. I mean, I don't hold that against her, but she's paralegal during the day and a hooker at night. But the second season, one of the guys that works at the bar that he drinks at, his 2 boys, another wrongful death, and his 3rd son is in jail, falsely accused. So I mean, it's I like Billy Bob Thornton. So yeah, I like it. I think it's a real good show.
Oh, dude's a good actor, man. I enjoyed that dude in Sling Blade.
Yeah.
Has it got multiple seasons, or is that season 1 and that's it?
No, I'm on season 2, and I think that's where it ends. And it's one of those shows you get hooked on, and it's like, dude, you got 2 seasons and that's it. It's like Bloodline.
Have you seen Ozark yet?
No, I have not.
Did Kristen tell you to watch it?
Hell, probably so.
Oh man, dude, you got to watch that.
What's it about?
This guy, he's got a family. He's got a wife and 2 kids, a son and a daughter. And him and his partner launder money for the second biggest Mexican drug cartel that there is. And so all of a sudden, some money goes missing. And the drug lord comes down to settle it up and see what's up. And so I don't want to tell you how they settled it.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, the dude, the lead guy, has to uproot his family from Chicago, and they move out to the Ozarks, like Lake of the Ozarks. What's that, Missouri? And
I believe so.
They set up shop over there, and his job is now, because of something drastic happens to his partner because of the stunts that he was pulling. So now this dude is under the gun to crack into this new system, and all the tourism and tourists and stuff like that, business opportunities, money coming into this region that could be used for drugs. He's got to find a way to move this product and launder money. So it sounds pretty straightforward, but dude, you watch that first episode, you'll get it. And then Laura Linney is his wife. I forget the guy's name. It's the lead guy. He's more or less in comedies, and Jason Bateman is his name. I just hear about him on, like some of the entertainment stuff, but I never did really know anything about the guy. He's phenomenal. And that Laura Linney's off the charts. And then the drug lord guy is Esai Morales from way back in the day. He's awesome. Scary, tough as nails, ruthless. I highly recommend watching it.
Dude, was that Bateman guy, was he on Friends? Is that one of them cats?
He might have been. I don't know, because I didn't watch Friends. I was the only guy in America that didn't watch Friends.
All right.
Did you watch it?
I watched it for the chicks, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Dude, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Old Courtney and Jennifer back in the day, dude, I'd have sat to deer blind with either one, if not both.
You'd have killed the Yellow Jackets for them. Well, anything else you got to offer, Teddy, in the vein of conversation?
Man, we got, hopefully, next month we're going to break out, the new line of camo with Element.
Good.
So we're waiting on the arrival of that. You got a few samples in. Everything is, looking good. We're just waiting on, the big shipment so we can go online and say, hey, here it is. Look at it and hopefully buy it.
Did those guys make good patterns?
Oh, dude, you should see. Plus, we signed a licensing agreement with Realtree. So basically on our clothes, we can print our patterns and we can also print Realtree.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it's.
Dude, what's a website for Element Camouflage?
ElementOutdoors.com.
Man, I got some real cool camo patterns so check out if you're into camo or want something different that's not the norm, but good stuff. Check out Element. What is it?
ElementOutdoors.com. Yeah. And here's something. I can't hardly say this with a straight face, man. Damn. People were asking about T-shirts, for the construction company, and I get local people here, and even my guys are like, dude, why don't you do something like that? And I just I don't know. I don't know. I just never did. I got to talking to Chris, and I'll, once we get done with this, I'll take a picture of this deal and send it to you. We got, I'm still kicking around the idea of, putting a couple of shirts up, linking them to the Element website, to try to get, the people that follow me, give them an incentive to go over there and look at the Element stuff.
You got some good shirts?
Dude, I think a couple of them are very cool. You remember?
You're going to sell them on Element's website, or you going to get one?
Yeah, no, dude. I just link them to Element's deal, unless you want to put them on your deal, and I'll cut you in for some of the juice.
And so they'll fulfill the orders for you.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
That's and because I dug the ones that you made for me.
Yep.
And I still got them, and like I said, you get that random, hit now and then, and, I may give them all away as Christmas gifts because I can't sell them. You never know, but if it pushes people towards, the website to look at some camo, I'm down with that.
Talk to people about it, where they can find you on social media, whether it's Instagram or Twitter.
Yeah, Ted Fowler 361, man. I've been kind of low key with my post because I've just been working like heck, and I'll start posting more stuff. And if I, I'm going fishing in the morning, so it's not all work. But yeah, I'll post some more stuff. Twitter and Instagram, Ted Fowler 361.
Well, man, between your work schedule and your girlfriend coming down for an extended stay at the Boom Boom Room, getting lots of action, you have time for social media. Well, I take it back. When she was sleeping, you could have posted some shit.
Yeah, well, some of the hijinks we embarked on were not postable.
Well, no, I don't mean that. I just mean while she was in her sawing logs, you could have been taking pictures of the dogs or something. It's a family-friendly show, Teddy.
There you go.
Hey, dude, good talking to you.
All right, buddy. It's good talking to you. Tell Kristen I said, hey, how them dogs of yours doing?
Oh, man. We're getting ready to head to Texas. We're taking them with us. Mula's doing great. Callie, she's getting better and better. She's about 1 year and 5 months now. And she is just, she's going to be a damn good dog, Teddy. And we got that dog. Kristen got that kind of replaced Shona. Not replaced, the rotation. It was time for a black lab. And so we got a black lab. And I'm figuring, okay, it's going to be Kristen's dog. And sure enough, that dog is my dog. She goes with me everywhere I go. And when I'm in Nevada, I take her riding with me. If I go down the shop, she'll hang out while I'm training. She never leaves my side. So she's my little buddy. And maybe in about a year or two, we'll do a chocolate lab to, do the rotation for Hershey. Yep. But and that's what I really want. I wanted another chocolate lab because that's my favorite. That's my favorite of the labs is the chocolate lab. But right now, man, I'm really I love Mula to death, but Callie's my buddy, and she's a black lab, and she's really smart, and she's got a hell of a personality, and she's like an alpha female. And man, Cassie's Ted's chocolate lab was a dog that loved to eat ice cubes, and I used to love when we was down at the ranch, and I would feed Cassie ice cubes because I always wanted an ice cube dog. Well, it turns out, for some reason, Callie loves ice cubes. So whenever I'm making a drink and she hears those, the rattle of an ice tray, here she comes. Or if I'm making, when I'm making margaritas down there in Nevada, there she is right there. And I just feed her ice cubes. So we're having a blast, dude.
Dude, I'm thinking, I didn't say anything, out publicly when it happened, but, Cassie passed away the end of April. It just crushed me. And now the house without having a lab around. I love my pointers. Don't get me wrong, but they're crazy as hell. And then that little boxer I got, she fits right in with them. So I miss that having the lab around, having that buddy around. So I've been telling myself after the first of the year, I think I'm going to go back on the market and, pick up another chocolate.
Yeah, I didn't want to say anything. I remember when you called me with the news about Cassie, and you thought she needed a hip replacement.
Hip replacement, yeah.
Through all, let's just make a long story short. Through it all, she just had very advanced cancer, and you had to put her down. And she was what, 6 years old?
She was 7. She was just 7 years old.
God. Yeah. Dang, boy, I tell you what, I can hear your voice when you talk about her. And the same thing when we lost Hershey, the past year, put her down on the first day of filming Broken Skull Challenge. I was like, God dang, man, you talk about a hard thing to do. And so anyway, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Are you going to go Chocolate Lab?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been looking online. Hell, I've already got the name figured out. So
is there, you got good breeders down there, or you got someone or that person you sent cash to for training?
You know what? No, and I talked to Kristen about that, when Cassie passed, because that type of cancer, you can't blame it on the breeder. It happened. It wasn't nobody's fault. It just happened. I haven't completely ruled out that breeder again, but I'll probably leave the state, maybe go to Oklahoma or, somewhere in one of those Midwestern states where, they run a lot of labs from duck hunting and pheasant hunting and stuff like that. And, and like I said, dude, I got the name figured out. Now I just got to, find the dog to put under it, but I'll be ready after the first of the year.
Well, all right, Teddy. Good catching up with you. Appreciate you joining me back on the podcast.
You bet, man. You bet. Thanks for having me on.
Have you checked out the big podcast with Shaq here at PodcastOne? Yeah, we talk basketball, but we're a lot more than just sports.
I met this fabulous lady. She had to be in her 70s, knew everything about me, knew everything about sports. And the last thing she says, I love your podcast. And I was like, thank you very much. Oh, but I hate that John Kincaid.
That's terrible. Listen free to the big podcast with Shaq exclusively on Apple Podcasts, PodcastOne.com, and the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend and leave us a rating and review.
All right, everybody, give me the go home cue. It's time to wrap up this podcast and ride off in sunset. Before I do that, I want to thank my guest, Ted Fowler, 361, coming on the show today. It was good to catch up with Ted and just sit there and bullshit with him about nothing specific, just talking about everything in general. Good talking with you, Ted. Check out elementoutdoors.com. They got some badass camouflage patterns. Ted has joined up with those guys, and they make good stuff. Hey, man, ProWrestlingTees.com/Steve Austin has all my Broken Skull Ranch shirts, and that's the bottom line. If you are thirsty, I have a beer for you. It is an IPA. It's the best IPA on the planet. Broken Skull IPA from El Segundo Brewing Company. All over Whole Foods and Total Wines in Southern California, way in Northern California. If you live in California, Southern California specifically, check it out and give it a taste. If you ain't in Cali, you're probably shit out of luck. And if you need a badass pocket knife, I got two for you. Cold Steel Broken Skull knife and a Cold Steel Working Man's knife. Both at my new Amazon store. Amazon's got the best price on both knives. Just go to Amazon.com/shop/Steve Austin, or just go to the Cold Steel Knives website and check out all their badass knives. I want to say one more thank you to all the fine sponsors of the Steve Austin Show, especially TheraWorks, ButcherBox, Hyundai USA, TrueCar, Geico, and BetOnline.ag. That's how I'm able to do this podcast for you twice a week for free. Please support them because they support us. You can find all my sponsors at PodcastOne.com under the Killer Deals button at the top of the page. Folks, I'm on social media, Twitter and Instagram, at Steve Austin BSR. Folks, until next time, my name is Steve Austin, and I will catch your ass down the road.
This has been a Podcast One production. Download new episodes of The Steve Austin Show every Tuesday at PodcastOne.com. That's PodcastOne.com.